Welcome back for another episode. I was going to say the Performance Mindset Show, but it's not that anymore. This is the debut episode of the Long Position podcast. I am your host, Amy Calandrino. Today, I have the pleasure of having Dan Hilken, who is Regional Market President with Seacoast Bank. He has decades of experience in banking, and I have seen just a transformation and continued growth of the Seacoast brand, which I love, my clients love, over the 6 years of his tenure there. And I'm looking forward to a conversation today where we discuss commercial real estate, what he's seeing here in the Orlando market, what he's seeing as far as businesses, and just having a great conversation like we usually do when we hang out with each other. But instead, you're getting to see firsthand some of that information. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Amy. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm really excited to join you.
Yeah,
So thank you. First debut edition in the new studio.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
loving it here. I'm at Hi Hello Labs in downtown Orlando. It's just a couple blocks from Cushman and Wakefield when I was acquired last year. So it's kind of cool to have everything be here and be so symbiotic.
Very cool. And it's close to my office as well, two
That's
blocks from
right.
my headquarters. So
Yeah, we're both on
yeah,
Orange Avenue in
yeah,
downtown.
that works out perfect.
So I wanna kinda start with more of, like, a, macro view
Okay.
of Orlando and, like, what you're seeing. You've been here quite some time, and it kinda feels like, Orlando is growing up, but what do you love about Orlando, and what do you think about the business environment here?
Wow, that's hard to answer because there are so many things that I love. I have been in Orlando. I've been here for 15 years after a 20-year stint in Jacksonville. Been
Yeah,
in banking the entire time. Orlando is a really unique city with its roots being so strongly entrenched with tourism and that history with Disney, obviously, in the theme parks. But what I love about Orlando is how diverse the economy has become, how rapidly it's growing. It's one of the 2 or 3 fastest growing metro areas in the country. And I believe just this morning I was reading the OEP and it was talking about Orlando as the fastest growing international city in the United States. So great influx of people, both domestic and international, new residents, and it has, as I said, a very vibrant, very dynamic and diverse economy. It used to be tourism based. Now we've got a lot of sectors, healthcare, construction, real estate, tourism, medical. There's just so many things happening here. Education. It's a great place to be. And I think pretty consistently it's rated as one of, if not the top cities in America to start, to grow, and to build a business in. So our topic is very pertinent.
well, let's talk about, I'm always focused more on relationships versus, transactional thinking
Yes.
and then all of that. What do you think embodies that?
I think that and I'm glad you brought that up because I think that's one of the things that really differentiates having a great supporting structure around you is the small, medium business owners. A big mistake that I see is they treat everything as a transaction and everything as a very intense, fierce negotiation. Like I'll use banking for example. They'll beat their banker up over, you know, every nickel on the fee. They'll beat their banker up over every basis point on a rate. And you may win that quick battle, but that doesn't really build a great relationship. And relationships obviously are symbiotic. They work both ways to the benefit of both parties when they work well. And so I think that, and it's not only banking, but again, the other partners we've talked about, a real estate advisor, a
Mhm.
lawyer, a CPA, et cetera. You don't always want to just beat someone up to the point that you're looking for the cheapest or the least expensive because what's the old saying? You get what you pay for.
Yes.
So oftentimes building a great relationship, it involves trust both ways. I think that it really involves understanding and having shared vision and goals. And I'll use banking for example. A really good banker that has a great relationship with a business owner should really know what that business owner's goals are. They should know what their long game is, and they should meet with them regularly because that may be changing pretty frequently.
Right.
So when I was a direct banker working, managing clients and working directly with them, I would insist on at least once a quarter and
Yes.
sometimes more. to just have that periodic check-in to really say, "Amy, how have your goals changed? What's new? What's changing in your industry?" Because as a banker, they may have 50 clients and they might be keeping track of 50 industries. That's hard to do. You want to meet with that business owner and say, "Tell me what's new and happening in your environment and how can I be prepared to help you and how can I, be a good, thoughtful advisor for you?"
And I have, this going on,
Yes.
or, how can I need this, this, this. I need a contact for an elevator. Like, and I'm like, "I got you." Like,
Uh-huh.
you can call me about your toilets or elevators or whatever. I don't care. Like, I'm happy to, like, help, provide the least amount of friction, in your business, like, as possible. And then you can also tell me how your kids are doing and then how your business is going. And, I find that that's, like, much more meaningful. And then you're not also by having that relationship too, I think that it's not costing as much capital to your bank or even my business if you're able to maintain that great relationship too. There's some wins to that as well.
I totally agree with you, and I like to call that there's the reactionary. You have to have that part of the relationship, but you also wanna have a strategic, and, I would want any of our clients or businesses that we're working with to know, "Look, if you call, here's my cell phone, you can call me if something happened with the wire and it didn't go through right, or you missed the cutoff time on transferring funds." Whatever those really quick, short cycle reactionary
Mhm.
times are, a good banker is gonna react to that immediately and always be available, right? You'll have their cell phone, you'll know how to reach them. Um, but I think that putting things on the calendar and saying, "Let's not be in reaction mode, let's not have that be all that we do. Let's have that time on the calendar where we grab lunch or we spend an hour or 2 together really talking about your business so I can really, as your banker, be prepared to help you with what's coming next."
I agree. And
Always good to be ahead of the curve versus playing catch up.
what qualities do you find that banks look at in the businesses that they lend to and provide capital to and bank with?
So, a really great question and one of the most important ones, and I would start with character and integrity. So that those 2 things I would say, and they're obviously very interrelated, but those 2 things are where everything else starts, but the foundation starts with those 2. In other words, when that business owner tells us something and it's either repeatedly untrue or you find them misleading, that really creates damage to trying to
Mhm.
establish a relationship. So when you meet and you're trying to form that relationship from a lending and banking perspective, those 2 are the most important. I think there are other things that matter, like their ability to follow through, their ability to execute, their ability to, demonstrate credibility in the job, ability to, have relationships and build relationships with people, keep key talent, keep key employees. Those things all really matter significantly. The ability to be open enough to take feedback that isn't exactly what they want to hear right away. Like that credible challenge I was just mentioning. Some people simply can't take that. They want yes people surrounding them. And, that's only going to get you so far because it's hard to know everything about everything, right? So being able to know, here's what I don't know, and I need advice and I need people to shore up my rough edges. But really and truly back to the character and integrity piece, those to me are the foundation of any relationship and a business relationship where you're going to at some point want to borrow capital from a bank. Those are probably the most two important, and those two will get you through the hardest times because when bankers know they can trust you and know you say what you say, your word is your bond. When those things happen, there's a very different level of how they will help someone through a rough time.